Victoria pulled out her phone and started recording. Well, she said with a smirk. Guess who I just found? Sandra Mora, our school's golden girl. Teachers will say, Victoria, why can't you be like Sandra? She's so brilliant. She's going to change the world. Well, look at your world changer now. Now mixing concrete at a construction site. Isn't life ironic? Victoria adjusted her designer sunglasses as she drove her white Range Rover through traffic. She was heading to a business meeting that could secure her biggest import deal yet. Dressed in a designer outfit, gold earrings sparkling, her nails painted neatly, she was the picture of success. The traffic slowed to a crawl near a construction site. Victoria sighed and checked her diamond watch. She might be late for her meeting. As she waited, tapping her manicured fingers on the steering wheel, something or someone caught her eye. At the construction site, workers in orange safety vests were mixing cement and carrying blocks under the scorching sun. One figure looked familiar, a woman pushing a wheelbarrow full of concrete blocks, sweat glistening on her dark skin. Her clothes were soaked with sweat, her face dusty, her hands covered in cement. Victoria squinted through her tinted windows. That face, those determined movements. A slow grin spread across Victoria's lips. No way, she whispered, then burst into laughter. No freaking way. But it was Sandra, the genius everyone once worshipped in high school, the girl who collected all the prizes in school, the one her teachers had used to shame her over and over again. Victoria remembered it like it was yesterday. Sandra Mora, 98%, excellent work. Class, clap for Sandra. Applause filled the room, some genuine, some jealous. Sandra then was a slim girl with neat cornrows and a faded uniform. Sandra lowered her eyes modestly as she went to pick her exam paper, though her heart swelled with joy. She had stayed up late reading by the weak flame of a kerosene lamp, while her parents dozed after a long day of selling vegetables at the markets. For her, every mark was hard-earned. The teacher's voice changed. And now, Victoria and Jerry. From the front row where the rich children sat, Victoria stood lazily. Her hair was styled in neat braids with beads, her uniform was new shiny, her school bag imported. She wore a gold wristwatch that flashed in the lights. 23%, Mrs. Njau announced, shaking her head. Victoria, what is wrong with you? With all the money your parents spend, you should at least try. Look at Sandra. She has nothing but she puts in the efforts. You should learn from her and change your ways. The class laughed softly. Some whispered, Madam Big Girl, fashion queen. Others giggled behind their hands. Victoria applied lip gloss on her lips, rolled her eyes and sat down. She didn't care. Her parents never shouted at her about grades. Her father often said, school is not everything. We have businesses, she'll be fine. Her mother preferred to take her shopping rather than push her to study. So, Victoria lived carelessly, her mind always on parties, clothes, and the latest trends. She never envied Sandra's scores. In fact, she sometimes wondered why Sandra bothered so much. But the teachers never let her be. Victoria, why can't you be serious like Sandra? Victoria, you should learn from Sandra. She's bright and she's going to be very successful one day. You can learn one or two from her. Victoria, if Sandra teaches you, maybe you'll improve. Victoria grew tired of hearing Sandra's name every day. To her, Sandra wasn't just a classmate, she was a shadow constantly thrown at her face. But Sandra never mocked her. In fact, she was very nice towards her. She often smiled kindly, even offering to help. Do you want me to explain calculus again? She would ask softly, but Sandra would wave her off. Please, I'm not interested in all this headache. My parents didn't send me to school to die over X and Y. The two girls were total opposites. One with brains but no money, the other with money but no interest in brains. Yet, in the eyes of their teachers, Sandra was the pride of the school and Victoria was its shame. But here she was, a mere construction worker. Victoria's lips curled into a sly smile. The irony was too sweet. She quickly parked her car by the roadside and grabbed her phone, already opening the camera app. This was too good to be true. Victoria then walked towards the construction fence, her high heels clicking on the pavement. Several construction workers noticed her expensive outfit and jewelry, wondering what someone like her was doing at their dusty work sites. Sandra! Sandra Mora! Victoria called out loudly. Sandra looked up from loading her wheelbarrow, cement dust on her face and work clothes. Her face lit up instantly. Victoria! Victoria, is that really you? She beamed, starting to walk towards her. But instead of embracing her former classmates, Victoria pulled out her phone and started recording. Well, 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 she said with a smirk. Guess who I just found? Sandra Mora, our school's golden girl. Teachers will say, Victoria, why can't you be like Sandra? She's so brilliant, she's going to change the world. Well, look at your world changer now mixing concrete at a construction site. Isn't life ironic? Victoria panned her phone camera across the construction site, zooming in on Sandra's dusty clothes and concrete-stained boots. I remember when teachers used to say you're going to be successful with a good career. So, where's your good career and successful life, Sandra? Oh wait, no connections, no godfather. How unfortunate. Sandra's co-workers had stopped working to watch the commotion. She felt her face burn with shame as Victoria continued. Meanwhile, look at me. Victoria spun around showing off her designer outfits. I own my own importing business. I drive a Range Rover. I live in a 1.5 million shillings apartment in Kilimani. And the funny thing, I barely passed any subject in school. Victoria laughed cruelly. But Daddy has the right friends, Daddy has money, and now I'm living my best life while you're, well, this. She gestured dismissively at Sandra's work clothes. Don't feel too bad, Victoria said with a fake sympathy. At least you're employed, right? Victoria pulled out her designer wallet and drew some notes at Sandra. The money scattered in the dust around Sandra's feet. There! Buy yourself something nice, maybe some hand cream. Construction work is so rough on the skin. As Victoria walked back to her car still recording, she called out, Say hello to our high school WhatsApp group. This is going straight online. Sandra stood motionless, tears running down her cheeks as her fellow workers gathered around her, their faces full of sympathy. The money Victoria had drawn lay untouched in the dirt. Sister Sandra, don't mind that woman, said Njogu, one of the younger workers. She doesn't know anything, but Sandra was too humiliated to respond. She knew that within hours, everyone from her high school will see the video. From his air-conditioned site office, Engineer Philip Maina had watched the entire scene unfold. As the regional construction manager for Landmark Construction Company, he was conducting a routine inspection when the commotion outside caught his attention. Engineer Maina was a self-made man who had worked his way up from site supervisor to senior management. He believed in merit over connections, and what he just witnessed made him very curious about Sandra. After Victoria drove away, he called his site supervisor Malam Ibrahim. That one who was just humiliated. What do you know about her? He asked. You mean Sandra? Ibrahim shook his head sadly. She's one of our best workers, sir. Been here almost 2 years now. Very hardworking, never gives trouble. What's her background? University graduate, sir. Civil engineering from JKUAT University, first class, but she couldn't find engineering work anywhere. Engineer Maina nodded thoughtfully. How is she a worker? Excellent, sir. She solves problems others can't solve. When we have technical issues or measurement problems, she figures it out quickly. The other workers respect her because she works hard and treats everyone fairly. Send her to my office first thing tomorrow morning, Engineer Maina said. Meanwhile, that evening, Sandra sat in her small room staring at her phone. The video was already everywhere. WhatsApp groups, Facebook, Instagram. Her high school classmates were sharing it with comments like, "Can you believe this is Sandra?" And "This is so sad." Some defended her, others pitied her, but everyone was talking about it. Sandra felt like hiding under her bed and never coming out again. She turned off her phone and cried herself to sleep, wondering if she would ever escape the shame of that moment. The next day, Sandra knocked nervously on the site office door. Malam Ibrahim had told her the big engineer wanted to see her, but hadn't explained why. She was terrified that Victoria's sin had gotten her in trouble. "Come in, sit down," Engineer Maina said kindly. I saw what happened yesterday. I also made some inquiries about you. Tell me your story. Sandra hesitantly explained her situation, how she'd graduated 2 years ago with excellent grades but couldn't find engineering work. Companies wanted 5 years of experience for entry-level positions or bribes that she didn't have. Her family was poor. Her father was a taxi driver. Her mother sold vegetables. They had sacrificed everything to send her to uni, and she felt she had disappointed them. So, you came to construction work? Engineer Minor asked. It was the only job I could find that paid regular salary. I send money to my parents every month. They don't know I'm doing manual labor. They think I have a good job. Do you regret studying engineering? Sandra thought carefully. No, sir. Even pushing wheelbarrows, I understand what we are building. I can read the drawings. I know why each column is placed where it is. The knowledge is still useful. Engineer Minor smiled. I'm impressed. I have a proposition for you. Sandra leaned forward anxiously. My company is starting a new project, a 15-story residential complex. We need a junior site engineer, someone who understands both engineering theory and the practical reality of construction work, someone workers respect and can listen to. Interested? Sandra's mouth fell open. Sir, are you offering me an engineering position? Starting Monday, junior site engineer, good salary, full benefits, and opportunity for advancement based on performance. What do you say? Engineer Maina asked. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I won't disappoint you. While Sandra's life was transforming, Victoria's was about to implode spectacularly. Victoria's successful import business was built on her father's connections and reputation. She had never learned to evaluate suppliers properly, manage cash flow, or build genuine business relationships. She relied entirely on her father's name and network. What Victoria didn't know was that her father's business empire was crumbling. Chief Juma had overextended himself, borrowing heavily to fund lifestyle expensive and risky investments. His company was losing major contracts to competitors who offered better value. His political connections were demanding kickbacks he no longer could afford. The final blow came when Chief Juma was implicated in a corruption scandal involving government contracts. His assets were frozen, his accounts seized, and his business partners distanced themselves overnight. Within 3 months, the Juma family lost everything. Their current mansion was sold to pay debts, their cars were repossessed. Chief Juma's health deteriorated from the stress, and he was hospitalized for a heart attack. Victoria watched her whole world collapse in real time. Her suppliers stopped delivering goods when payments bounced. Her wealthy friends stopped returning her calls. Her expensive apartment lease couldn't be renewed. For the first time in her life, Victoria faced the reality that money and connections weren't permanent. Without genuine skills or work experience, she was unemployable. Who would hire someone whose only qualification was being Chief Juma's daughter? Especially now that Chief Juma was disgraced. Meanwhile, Sandra thrived in her new role. She was living her best life. Her combination of theoretical knowledge and practical construction experience made her invaluable. Her first project was completed ahead of schedule and under budget. Engineer Minor promoted her to site engineer. Within a year, she was managing multiple projects and earning recognition throughout the industry. Magazines featured articles about her innovative construction methods. She developed new techniques for affordable housing that maintained quality while reducing costs. Her reputation grew as someone who could deliver results without compromising safety or standards. After a while, Sandra started her own small consulting firm specializing in low-cost housing projects. She hired some of her former co-workers from the construction site, giving them opportunities to develop their skills and earn better wages. Life was good. She was rich and successful now. 1 year later, Victoria stood by the roadside under the afternoon sun, a small tray of groundnuts balanced on her head. Fresh groundnuts, sweet groundnuts, she called out to passing cars and pedestrians. Her designer clothes had been sold long ago, replaced by a simple dress and worn sandals. It was a humid Tuesday afternoon when she saw a black SUV slow down in traffic. Through the window, she glimpsed a woman in professional attire talking on her phone. The woman looked out and their eyes met. Victoria's heart sank as she recognized Sandra. She quickly turned away, hoping Sandra hadn't seen her, but it was too late. Sandra had already parked her car and was walking towards her. "Victoria," Sandra said softly, ending her phone call. Victoria looked up with tears in her eyes. "Sandra, please, go away. I'm ashamed." "What happened?" "Everything fell apart," Victoria whispered. "Daddy's business collapsed. We lost everything. I've been looking for work for 8 months, but nobody will hire me. I don't have any real skills." Sandra looked at the woman who had humiliated her with that viral video 2 years ago. Victoria was now in a far worse situation than Sandra had ever experienced. "I need to tell you something," Victoria continued, crying openly now. "I am sorry. I am so sorry for what I did to you. That video, the things I said, I was cruel and wrong. I thought I was better than you because my family had money. I'm sorry." Sandra was quiet, watching Victoria's genuine distress. "I saw your success in the newspapers," Victoria added. "Your engineering firm, your projects. You deserved it all along. I was just too proud and stupid to see it." "It's okay, Vicky. I forgave you a long time ago. What kind of work are you looking for?" Sandra asked directly. "Anything. I'll clean offices, work in a shop, sell goods on the streets. Anything honest. I just need to survive and help my parents. Daddy is still in the hospital and Mama has nothing." Sandra thought carefully. "My office needs an administrative assistant, answering phones, organizing files, basic bookkeeping. The pay isn't much, but it's steady work. Interested?" Victoria stared in disbelief. You'd give me a job after what I did?" "Everyone deserves a second chance, Victoria. But this time, you'll need to work hard and prove yourself." "I will," Victoria said through her tears. "I promise I won't disappoint you." Working for Sandra taught Victoria lessons she'd never learnt in her privileged upbringing. She discovered the satisfaction of earning money through honest work. She learned to manage budgets, solve problems, and treat people with respect regardless of their social status. 2 years later, Sandra's engineering firm had become one of Nairobi's most respected construction companies, specializing in affordable housing for middle and low-income families. She had employed many people. Victoria had worked her way up to become Sandra's office manager, and they had become good friends. One day, they were both invited to speak at their old secondary school's career day. Sandra was the keynote speaker. During the Q&A section, a student asked, "What would you tell someone who feels like they have failed in life?" Sandra glanced at Victoria in the audience and smiled. "I'd say that failure isn't feeling down. Failure is refusing to get up. Everyone faces setbacks, but the people who succeed are those who learn from their mistakes, work hard, and keep building their dreams one brick at a time." The audience applauded, but Victoria was wiping away tears, remembering her own journey from arrogance to humility. As they reached their cars, Victoria reflected on the incredible journey from that humiliating day at the construction site to this moment. She had learned that true success isn't about looking down on others. It's about lifting each other up, just as Sandra had lifted her when she needed it most. If you were Sandra, would you have helped Victoria out after all the pain and embarrassment she had caused? Please tell me in the comments below. And that was it for today's story. I hope to see you in my next video. Kwaheri.